Tool time. My name's um, Yusuf Abdullah Al-Tahir. I found your video through Suicide for Celluloid, who I really dig this guy, Suicide for Celluloid, and hopefully me and I can talk soon. But I found his video, or your video, through him. And I believe I've subscribed to you since I watched your video. I watched it a few hours ago, and I made a video response, but it was too long, and whatever. So I'll touch on the key points that I was saying before. You asked for specifically people who weren't of American background. And I don't know if this isn't exactly a response to you, but well, here it is, right? Well, you don't know this, so I figure I'll tell you. First 20 years of my life spent as Sunni Muslim. Then found comfort within Eastern Orthodoxy. I don't say I'm an ex-Muslim, I'm just non-practicing Sunni Muslim. Because how do you get the pee out of the swimming pool? I mean, how do I redo the past? You can't do that. You're correct in that atheism, I mean, I do make the distinction, the idea that there's atheism, which is the lack of belief in God, right? Which, for me, it's religion comes from us. It's human. And from rituals to sets of beliefs, the way we bury our dead, the way we bring celebrate children coming into the world, you know, these things developed over time. It's religion is a word that we give to things that encompass like culture or anything that basically is cultural. Religion has a part of that. I mean, it's very strange. I don't just see it as a set of beliefs or ideas, but even just taking it as that, I had made a video about the fact that atheism as the movement today, of whatever you want to take that as, not just atheist plus, but just the atheism of today is coming out of, it's kind of stuck in the 18th century, like David Hume type arguments against the Western God, the God of the sky or whatever, you know. Or at least the God of, you know, Protestantism, Roman Catholicism, Sunni and Shia Islam, and Judaism, right? Orthodoxy is a different matter, because, well, if you know anything about Eastern Orthodoxy, it's pretty blatant, but I don't think you want to lecture on Eastern Orthodoxy. Now, I think you hit the nail right on the head at about 8 minutes and 30 seconds, where you said religion is ineradicable. And Hitchens said the same thing. But I think you meant it as, no, it's not. That you have to go to these, you have to expand these definitions out to absurdum to get the idea that it's ineradicable. I totally see. I fully agree with Hitchens. He was saying it as a kind of a bad thing, you know, as long as our frontal lobes are too small and our adrenal glands are too big and our thumb finger dexterity isn't all it might be, and we're afraid of the dark and we're afraid to die, and we believe in truths the holy books are so stupid that children, as seen in their questions, see right through them. And what do you say? And I treat religion with hatred and contempt, and I claim that right, which is a beautiful quote. I love and I miss Hitchens so much. But you're right, people like Madeline Murray O'Hara, who were kind of like the bitchy people, and I mean, she stole money from the American Atheist Alliance or League or whatever, and that's why she never called the cops, and she got herself killed and her son and granddaughter too. And it was, I mean, she disowned her own son who decided to become a Christian. That's not really, that kind of sucks. But beyond just that kind of stuff, I have seen dogma, or at least heresy, within atheist groups, and I think you can recognize this right off the bat. This is something I've seen very often. The objectivists, the fans of Ayn Rand, who are total atheists, are almost met with like, like, oh, you did, you, like, many atheists view them as almost heretics, right? And the Atheist Plus movement, right? It does. The funny thing is that it does meet the dictionary definition of religion, because it asserts a statement about a metaphysical idea, or just say God, a deity, and then it has these commonly held beliefs, this Atheist Plus, or commonly held goals or feelings, attitudes, which fits a definition of religion right there. I mean, people say, well, we don't have any dogma. It's kind of funny. I've heard Protestants and Buddhists say that they don't have dogma. Not actual Asian Buddhists, but like the hippy-dippy white people Buddhists. And I say, well, what are the Four Noble Truths? They say, oh, well, you have, every Buddhist believes those, and if you don't believe those, then you're not a Buddhist, and no Buddhist would accept you as a Buddhist if you denied one of the Four Noble Truths. Dogma. Well, no, but it's not Catholic. It doesn't need to be Catholic to be dogma. Or people who don't know the difference between dogma and doctrine. I don't think any atheist movement has doctrine, but I think there are some atheist movements that do have dogma. But things like, I think not believing in God has always been with us. I don't know if there's a time before that. But coming from where I came from, just, I guess you'd say spiritually or culturally or whatever, to me, Protestant or atheism is a form of Protestantism, right? And I love history, and I love studying cultures and religions, and sometimes religion and political identity, or religion and culture. I mean, it's kind of very arbitrary what we call religion, right? Is what we don't call religion, and then we have the sociological definitions or the anthropological definitions of religion, right? There was a form of atheism that grew up in ancient India that was a horse of a completely different color than the one that grew up out of being influenced by the Protestant Reformation. I don't know if there's points which I agree with you upon, but I figured I should express this to you, because this might be an opinion that you might not hear a lot, and not to mention that there are those people who will assume, like, oh, well, Christianity means creationism, and believing every word of the Bible, when the historical forms of Christianity get no doctrine, dogma, or theology from the Bible. The Bible, the New Testament, did not exist until hundreds of years after the church had existed, and even after some of the great councils. It's specifically and peculiar American Christianities that have this idea of a Bible-based church. Well, that doesn't make any sense if you just think about it for a half a second. And creationism is specifically Americanism, Americanistic, and very modern, and a lot of the anti-gay stuff. And you know, I'd say stuff like this. I'd say even heaven and hell, and I'd get atheists from the Ukraine and from Russia and from Serbia defending me, saying, yeah, the Eastern Orthodox Church doesn't believe in proselytizing, heaven, hell, you know, hatred of gays. Sin does not mean, you know, sin just means to miss the mark. It's not, you know, you're not pissing off a God, and even the God of Eastern Orthodoxy is basically the Tao. It's not the sky God who's this and that. So this is just my reaction to your video. I pretty much dig your video, and I believe I subscribed. If I didn't, I'm going to. Take it easy. Peace to you. And as I say at the end of all my videos, peace to you. May God save Serbia, Syria, and Ireland. Even though I guess with your terms and Western terms, just like I say, I don't believe in heaven or hell. I guess technically I don't believe in a God. Oh, one last point is that there's a lot of these qualifiers by like Dawkins and Harris and Pendulette. And Pendulette said if God commanded you to kill your child and you wouldn't, then I consider you an atheist. And that's me. And I met a lot of these, almost all these qualifiers, which said nothing about a belief in God, just basically blind obedience to a power that you think is destroy you at will, which is, again, a very Western Protestant strange thing. So, alright, take it easy. And I'd love to hear any of your thoughts on this video, whether you hate it or like it or whatever.